All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 6 of the Cooldown Lap with your host Jog and
Garrett, let's go. So we're
what's
here at, oh my God.
dude, my cameraman's going off. Just caught this. That's gonna wake everyone up for the pod, just straight up in my face.
That was the most aggressive zoom I've ever seen. Let's do that
It's Alonso on the camera. I don't know how that happened.
again.
I don't know. Have you
Do this
seen?
with your hands. No, I don't know. I thought it was like maybe
That
a
was
hand
that
signal.
was weird. I don't know. But you ever see that video where Alonso's just like he DNF'd or whatever? He's just like taking the thing and he's like trying to follow the cars and he's just like
It was
absolutely
terrible. And
horrible.
they're like, okay, you can leave now.
Yeah, yeah, you're good, bro. Thank you. Oh
That's so
man.
funny.
Yeah, a lot happened. We're talking now post testing. We thought we'd delay the podcast a little bit, bring you some more information, some of the action that went down the last 3 days. And Garrett, what do you think, man? I think there's a lot to talk about, but where do you want to kick it off?
It's been a wild week of testing. I mean, we started last week. We got a pretty good idea of how everyone was going to show up, and then everyone made minor changes on their car, but one team decided to show up and potentially completely change the game. I think you know who I'm talking about, but that was Ferrari, who not only showed up with little weather vane on the back of their car to redirect exhaust in a cool way, but probably one of the most funky and hopefully impactful rear wings of the season. They held it till late in the test. They didn't want to show anyone their cards too early, but they showed up and to Fred Vasseur's quote, to do the Macarena and have that rear wing spin all the way upside down, which was pretty crazy to see.
Isn't that what they call the wing, the Macarena? Is
They
that what
called
they
the
call
Macarena wing because, hey, Macarena.
That's so funny. I thought it was called like the rotisserie chicken because that's all I kept seeing online is just that rotisserie chicken on the wing,
Spinning
just
away.
rotating, rotating. But let's show everyone what we're talking about. We have it actually pulled up here. You could kind of see the wing opening up. So I think that's one of the key takeaways from the wing is that it creates a much bigger gap than the other rear wings, right? So you can actually, we have another picture that will show you that you could see the difference in terms of the actual gaps. This is putting, I guess, less drag on the wing, creating more airflow, and in return going faster. But it looks cool. It looks really, really cool.
It's not even just that it creates less drag. It actually, when it flips upside down, it's almost like a wing on an airplane. It lifts the rear of the car, which supposedly gives them a speed advantage on the straights. So what they're lacking in horsepower, albeit HP riddled all over their car, they might be making up with this wing, which is super, super cool. And it's either going to be something we see on every car in 6 months, or something that's going to put them apart from everyone else and be an advantage throughout the year if no one else can copy it fast enough.
Yeah, I
It's pretty cool.
wonder how much speed they're actually losing from the actual rotation of the wing because I feel like that's a lot slower than other teams. Like I don't know if that makes a difference. Like this just might be me being curious and just thinking about it, but like I could see how it helps as the car slowing down and it almost like flips and creates I guess a wall for like just a split second, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Causing all obviously helping with probably braking, but the other way, you could see that as he's trying to accelerate, it also does that. So probably cancels each other out eventually, but
I think it'll look very different on a track with short straights, but if you put them in Imola, that thing is going to fly.
yeah, yeah, for sure. I guess if it really helps out in this straight, it kind of makes up for it as well with creating more space. I think we have it over here. That data reveals that Ferrari can gain 8 to 10 kilometers per hour more on the straights with the new rear wing, which is insane. And
Like
this kind of shows.
that's basically, a second DRS compared to what some other people are running, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy fast. Um, but it's really cool to see Ferrari actually now showcasing that they're also interpreting the rules. They're also, being innovative, bringing something up. that's different, and I guess the rear wing flipping and the vortex, that flow vane they call it, which is really cool because they're actually using aerodynamics and wind and hot air, cold air, creating vortexes around the car to actually make the rear wing even more efficient as well. So they are doing things that are out of the box, different, and something that Ferrari needs to do, I feel like, at this point.
Yeah, they're doing a whole lot of shit that I'm not trained to understand. But the cool thing for me is that they're not just rolling over and dying after having a bad season. They're showing up with some pretty cool innovations, and fingers crossed it works for them. I think they're definitely the team that over the whole testing period probably showed their hand the most. And, that ended up with Charles putting in one of the fastest laps by almost a second on the final day. So who knows if that's just everyone huffing the hopium or if they're really going to be up there as top dogs, but certainly threw a wrench into testing that I didn't see coming.
Yeah, no, for sure. And we'll get into that in just a second. But yeah, they're definitely focus on the reliability. Like I think Ferrari has been one of the most reliable engines, and we're going to talk about that as well. And this innovation with the wing, especially the rear wing, because even the vortex is used to kind of create more efficiency, less drag on the rear wing, and creating more downforce. So they're definitely utilizing all their tools on hand to, I guess, show the most during this testing, which again begs to differ. Like, what's going on with the other teams? Like, they obviously haven't shown as much as Ferrari yet, and they're kind of letting Ferrari having this. And in the past, we've seen this as well, Garrett. It's like Ferrari testing, doing great, but testing also doesn't show or mean all that much. What does that mean for the other teams? What are they doing?
We don't know if they're genuinely fast or if they just forgot the sandbags at home, but uh, remains to be seen in Australia.
Yeah, let's talk about the testing now that we're talking about it. You mentioned Charles Leclerc was the top runner. Where do you want to even start with this? Should we just start with who was the fastest?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's jump into it.
We go. We got Ferrari, I guess, with Charles Leclerc at the top. We got McLaren right after them. But again, like we mentioned, almost what 800th or 900th of a second behind. Red Bull following McLaren again, following the kind of a lap time around 300th of a second behind McLaren. And then we got Mercedes and Williams after that in terms of like the overall fastest lap ranking from Bahrain Test 2. And what do you think about that?
Which part?
About Mercedes being not the fastest car, but it's, still the front runner.
I mean, they're eerily calm. They're eerily confident. When a German team just goes out and drives circles without putting in too many flying laps or trying to set a tone, makes me worried.
Yeah.
Worried for
Yeah.
my favorite team.
For sure. I mean, we were looking at the team averages in terms of the lap times that we set, but when we look at the individual drivers, like Kimi was second. Kimi was up there. We have Charles, we have Kimi, and then we have Oscar and Lando, and then number five, Max. So the top five, Kimi's number two with the fastest lap times. George is number six, but again, like another thing, our anticipation was for George Russell, and he's clearly slow, and it's obvious that he can be a lot faster than Kimi.
Yeah,
So
there's
what's going on
there's no
there?
world where Max and George are over a second off the pace. It's
No.
just not happening. But to your point, there's probably very slim chances that Kimmy's kicking the shit out of George this year. So, you know, the sandbags haven't come off yet. Uh, but the fact that Mercedes barely ran any fast laps in the last few days of testing and just went out and drove circles, put miles on the car, makes me nervous for what they're hiding and why they're as confident as they are.
Well, I mean, let's first talk about how everyone is pointing the finger. Oh my God. Everyone's like, he's faster. No, he's faster. No, he's fast. It's literally that Spider-Man meme where they're just like pointing at each other, like, oh my God, it's him, it's him. I think it started off with Toto pointing the finger at Red Bull, and then Max being like, no, it's clearly Mercedes. And even Mekki's saying pointing the finger, McLaren just staying under the radar this whole time. And McLaren's still there, people. The reigning champions are still here, and they're doing decently as well. They're not showing all their cards, so there's just so much pointing fingers, so much that is still a question mark, which I like that. I think that's good.
Yeah, man. The fact that we don't know how it's going to play out, the fact that we're all going to wake up on the morning that the car set foot in Australia, uh, brings a lot of excitement to the 2026 season. If one team just showed up and was 10 seconds faster than everyone else from day one of testing all the way through, you'd basically just be able to check back in and when does the season end? Middle of
Yeah,
the end of the year and just say, great, we're done. That's what we
yeah,
thought. But I think the biggest thing to take away from testing is the reliability pace or reliability piece. And I think Mercedes is still leading it big time with the number of laps they put in. I mean, they were up there in the second part of testing alone with over 400 laps, with Ferrari and the Racing Bulls surprisingly chasing close at their heels. But they put in a ton of work.
yeah. And I want to talk about Racing Bulls. Two things that stuck out to me about them was first off, Arvid Lindblad setting a record for the most amount of laps put in on a test by an individual driver. I don't know how many laps he did, 140 or something crazy. I can't recall off the top of my head, but
In one
um,
day.
in one day, yeah, good on the kid. You know what I mean? For putting in those laps and obviously helping the team gather a lot of data because the more laps you do, the more data you gather, the better you're going to be able to produce and predict things. So good on him, and it shows a lot about the Ford Red Bull reliability. Like, oh my God, they're obviously developing something new, and when you develop something new, it's tough. It's the toughest thing to do, and I think Laurent Mekies nailed that. It's like it's not just us. Like everyone is facing these issues. Like everyone is having these hardships. Like it is not easy. Like just because we're a little ahead doesn't mean we're not going to face a lot of problems coming into it. But good on them for creating something that's reliable and fast, right off the bat. And you can look at Audi for instance, or other teams like even Honda coming back into F1 with all these issues, or they're just not looking as sharp as they can be.
Yeah, man. You're talking about Arvid though. Uh, that kid put in a ton of laps and he made it look pretty easy and consistent. And as a rookie coming into F1, that's impressive. I found the number. He did 240 laps, which was the most laps of any driver in the second week of testing.
That's crazy, man. And I think it goes to show that the hype is there, right? With a driver like that. He's so young. What is he, like 18, 9? No, he's 9. He's older than that, I think. Is he?
I don't know. I don't have a single clue. I'd have to look that up.
Yeah, I think he's like 20 years old or super super young, and just to be able to do that, he's 18. He's 18. So, man, I thought he was even older than that. He's 18 years old, coming in, pumping out 240 laps. That probably does so much for his confidence too, as a driver, and knowing that Racing Bulls. I think another thing that stuck out was their top speed. They were one of the teams with a top speed that was obviously up there.
When you talk about Lindblad, that boosting his confidence, I think it especially does that when you know that the guy who was his predecessor in that team as a Kadjar only got 125 in the Red Bull. I think he was one of the people probably most plagued by downtime, where Max got a heck of a lot more laps than he did in at least in the second week of testing, and it puts Hadro on the back foot. But compare that to a new kid coming in who's probably had more testing than any other rookie in existence, puts him in a good place to make a push this year and maybe earn that second seat
Yeah,
at Red Bull in the future.
for sure. We'll just see how he does, and I'm excited for him being, representing a little bit of, my back home India. He's half Indian, so it's cool to see a little representation on the track and on the grid, and I'm very excited to see how he does and his future. I hope he's able to pull through and F1 can be very harsh, and I hope he just overcomes all those hardships and succeeds, right? So this is a good start. This is a really good start. But leading those total laps, let's just talk about that a little bit, is Lindblad, George Russell. Number three is Oscar Piastri. Number four is Ocon. Interesting. Okay, I didn't know that. And then we have Verstappen in number five. So a lot of good mix there. So obviously the Red Bull engine, the Ferrari engine, and then we have the Mercedes engine, obviously up there, and the total laps led by engines, Mercedes, and then we have Ferrari, and then we have Red Bull powertrain. But Mercedes obviously collectively have done so much more. They have so much data. I guess
Yeah,
having how many four
they have
teams?
way more teams than anyone else that you can think of, right?
Yeah,
Um, but it's nice to see Ferrari with two teams, Red Bull with two teams, and Ferrari pumping in a couple hundred laps more than them. So Ferrari's looking good, and they've figured out those starts too. I think they're going to be a force to be seen this season.
yeah. Let's quickly actually talk about those starts. We totally missed that when we were talking about Ferrari and their innovation, but they found a way to actually, I guess, get the turbofan going a little bit quicker than the other teams, where they're actually able to have a shorter prep time for launching the cars. And I don't know if everyone knows, but you've
Well,
probably seen. Yeah, go
this
ahead.
is like what people have been talking about as the biggest potential plague to this season, right? Is uh, all, I guess, 22 cars now showing up on the grid and having to sit there for 20, 25 seconds and rev their cars up just to get the turbos going before they can get started. People are worried that the starts are going to be like a catastrophe with half the grid not even getting off the line. So,
Yeah.
it used to be that pole position was the number one thing you needed to go for, but like we saw a little glimpse of in the clip that Joggy's about to show, I mean, you could be starting back as low as fifth and still almost be in first by the first corner.
That's crazy. That is honestly insane. And I think that was a big thing, was just talking about how much this is going to impact based off of the rules as well. Because if they're starting the way we start now, being in pole position is going to give you far bigger of an advantage because you're able to rev up and charge up the battery far longer than someone who's P22, right? As soon as they hit the grid, they got to go, right? So,
But
how do you
also,
think?
if they have to sit there revving for 20 seconds, the guy in pole position's tires are going to be ice. It'll be a weird dichotomy to see it happen.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if I have the right screen up actually. Let's take a look. There we go. Let's look at this launch right here.
You'll have to loop it back one more time.
Let's loop it back.
You see Hamilton start all the way in the back, and by the time he's at the first corner, both him and the Haas are pushing up towards P1. So it's not just Lewis. It's not that he just had a hell of a start. It's that engine, the Ferrari engine, is doing something that no one else has figured out yet.
Yeah, I don't know who was at the front, Kimmy, but like just imagine being Kimmy and just seeing Lewis pop
I
by
think it was
next year.
George. I think
Oh,
it
was
was
it
George.
George?
Yeah.
And just seeing Lewis pop by next year and like, what the? Where was he? Like,
Yeah, he started way back.
it's just crazy. I think there's another angle. I don't know if I can find that angle where you could just see him just launch right over here. I think this is the one right here.
Yeah, yeah, from the side.
Yeah, from the side, you could just see how much quicker the Ferrari is off the line.
Like they're just
They're
gone. The racing bull
gone.
looks like he's in first gear still.
Oh my God. It's so funny. I forgot who was talking about the rear wing being a gimmick and just being dog shit. But he's like, it doesn't even matter. If you're in the front, you don't really use DRS anyway. So it doesn't matter. If you have a launch like that, you're going to be in pole position for first anyways, running for podium. So yeah, I mean, it looks good. It looks great. I think that was a brilliant launch, and I think the biggest thing to capitalize on is like a lot of people struggled as soon as they got to the MGU-H unit that kind of pre-spun that turbo. I'm not too sure what they're doing, but it seems to be working, and that's why Fred Vasseur was like, "No, we're not gonna vote against this. Like, we're okay with the way they're doing it now, and it
Well, Fred
seems to
brought it
work."
up months ago and they didn't listen to him. So he then said, I'll just go fix it. If they don't want to do anything, I'll just fix it.
That's smart. That's smart. He's like, he saw a problem, they didn't deal with it, and he's like, guess what? Everyone's gonna how else is have gonna have this problem. So let's just get on top of it.
Yeah, exactly. Again, showing Ferrari's not just rolling over and dying.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, a lot of strong things for Ferrari right now. A lot of this podcast has been the most Ferrari positive podcast.
I hate it. I hate it. But what it gives them is 100 more opportunities to fuck up the strategy.
Yeah.
They haven't shown evidence that they've fixed their strategy department. They
Well,
could wait till it's incredibly dry and put the wet tires on. We just don't know yet.
well,
But
that's why they
if they're
got the new
20 seconds
engineers.
up the track, might give them the time to try some silly shit and not get
Yeah.
hurt by it.
Yeah, so that's their game plan is they're going to be so fast that it's going to
They,
make up for the buffer of all the engineering fuck ups, the communication fuck ups, everything. Um,
they'll be able to pit 13 times in the race and still be ahead of everybody.
they'll be okay. They'll be okay. They can be like pit, don't pit, and you know what? They can be zipping back and forth and they'll be fine. They'll be weaving.
Well, saying that out loud too, this turbo issue is going to hit them in the pit stops too, right? They're going to be a little bit slower than everyone else. Like everyone else can be a little bit slower than Ferrari getting out of the box. Could
Yeah,
be more of a thing than we realize.
it could be. It definitely. I didn't even think about that. That
Not by a
definitely could be
lot,
it.
not by a
Yeah.
lot, but it might give them that chance to overtake in the pits if they're fast enough or to make up for the time they would have otherwise lost.
Well, in order for that to happen, I feel like the race has to be close to begin with, and I just feel like the field is so spread out right now that it's gonna be only select few teams that it's gonna be close with as of now. Um, there's a lot of teams that have a lot of work to do to get up to that pace, and
You have any in mind?
I, I don't know, man. I might have one in mind.
You might be wearing some gear that would indicate that you have a good idea of which team might have some work to do. What the hell's going on with Aston?
Let's talk about it. Yeah, there's a lot going on with Aston. Let's start with what they did during testing because they've been a huge topic during obviously testing one, testing two now. Total laps put together as a team collectively 128. So it's not good. The total pace, like Lance said from last week, they're around 4.5 seconds off. This week, there were 4 seconds off. So they
And on the
found,
last day, they did what, 6 laps because they were worried the car wouldn't make it and didn't have parts to repair it.
yeah, they didn't have enough parts. So they've clearly been going through a lot of parts. They've been trying to push the cars, get it on the track as much as they can, but it seems like the car is just having a lot of issues. Lance Stroll, even the first day, spun out, which was completely not his fault, believe it or not. It was something to do with the front aero. But right when I said that, I knew you're gonna laugh. I knew you're gonna laugh, but something to do with the aero that kind of caused him to lose traction. I think Fernando on day two or day three also had to pull over and stop due to some engine issues. which he claims he chose to walk because he'd walk back faster. That was his word. So I am
The defeated
very
man right there.
very much looking forward to his onboard radio this season because I want to hear what he has to say about this Honda engine because I know Fernando has a lot to say and his sense of humor is going to be one to watch for.
Hopefully, he has a good sense of humor.
It's gonna be a little bit of both. Let's be honest. He's
Either that or he'll be getting a large cash bonus from Lawrence Stroll to not kill someone in the team.
yeah. I think he deserves it at this point from the torture Honda has been giving him for his whole life. So gotta feel for him. Laps by driver, Alonso 96 laps, Stroll 32 laps. When it comes down to the overall performance, poor by Honda, and let's just quickly talk about like what's happening. It's just been a big issue with the actual engine itself, the actual gearbox, and the battery. Wow, what do you know? Like the three biggest things that we need right now is not working for us. A lot of people saying the aero hasn't been working as well, but it's hard to really say when we're having not enough ability to actually test the car because the actual powertrain itself is giving a lot of issue, right? So, in order to test the aero thoroughly, we need a working car.
All we know is someone's getting fired.
This is like a third time you said that about Aston, bro, in our whole podcast. The first thing was is the car launch. Somebody's getting fired, man. Somebody's getting fired. um,
Lawrence Stroll is not going to keep everyone around if that's how it's going.
Well, I mean, you can tell by the body language. Like we see so many posts of like Adrian Newey just like I think there was one post he was on his knees on the side of the car and like obviously the media is gonna put their spin on it. But you could see heated conversations between, Lance, Adrian Newey, the engineers, and there was actual just recently some reports of an argument that was spotted between the Honda engineers and some of the Aston Martin engineers. So um, there's a lot going on. A lot is obviously happening in terms of emotion, anger, frustration. Fernando Alonso was seen just, throwing his gloves out of the car and getting out of the car in frustration. It's not a fun sight to see, but they're facing a lot of problems. And, there's a possibility that they might not even be able to qualify in Australia. I don't know what you have to,
Damn.
yeah. I don't know. I'm just like getting frustrated even talking about this right now, but
All you got to do is buy some Ferrari merchandise, switch teams, and then you can be frustrated by pit stops all season instead.
I don't even know if I want that, bro. I mean, I gotta pick one. I gotta pick one. Might as well stick with Aston Martin at this point, but um, there
Uh,
there is something called the 107% rule, which is basically if you're not within a certain um, qualifying pace set by the pole, you actually can't race. Which I didn't even know was a rule. Did you know that, Garrett?
nope. I
And
haven't seen a car run slow enough to have that be the case. But
I
it's
don't
what, a
even know what
safety
to.
thing?
I don't know that. I don't even know what to say to that. I don't even know. I'm just like I'm at a loss of words right now. Um, yeah, just the car itself was like 40 kilometers per hour slower. The gearbox wasn't able to rev high enough because it was just not able to handle it. The engine was not able to handle it. It had to be run at I think like 10,000 or 11,000 RPMs, which other cars are running at 13,000.
That's a big difference.
Huge difference. Huge.
Well, let's get you out of this depression and talk about top speeds. Pull up that graphic of the top speeds.
Thank you, Garrett. Thank you. I was like waiting for somebody to say something, and it's only you here. So let's look at these top speeds.
Okay, this is only from week one. I don't think anything's been put together for week two that we could find anyway. This is before Ferrari's new uh, rear wing, so this could change. But what's giving me hope, even though they're not the fastest starters, even though we didn't see the fastest lap, what we did see was Red Bull had the highest top speed of any other car on the grid. That gives me hope because you give
Yeah,
Max a fast car, you can go to war.
for sure.
Who knows if Ferrari caught up this week? We'll see. But it was nice to see that Mercedes, even with them quietly lurking in the back, they weren't putting a blistering top speed at least.
Yeah, I mean,
To be
Red Bull,
determined if sandbags were alive and well or if they'd been removed at this point. Unsure.
that is true. That is true. So again,
They might even make changes to the amount of energy that the cars can deploy and what their reserves are throughout the season if they need to. So we could even see these go up from here because this is with all the engines still clipping electricity at this point.
that is true. But I do hear that Red Bull is using some, I think Chinese batteries that are supposed to be really good. Um, which is,
I have no idea if you're serious or not.
no, I'm dead serious. That's what I heard that they're using Chinese batteries. So and they're supposed to be really good batteries, which again is contributing to their top speed. So
Exactly.
I'm not even joking. I know you're looking at me like this guy's like trolling. Like you're like typing right now. You're like, let me fact check this. But I heard fact check me, please fact check me. Um, it's it's looking good for top speed, and you're absolutely right. I think Verstappen, not even setting the pace. It seems like he's been kind of like it's obvious he hasn't been pushing on the track. He has a lot to give. We've seen him give it, and he's just kind of like taking it very easy right now. Likewise with George Russell, we already talked about. There's no way that he's being beat by Kimi with pace as of now. So there is a lot left on the table to interpret.
So what do we take away from all this? We now have an awkward break between now and Australia where our excitement and anxieties can run high. What do we take away from testing?
Honestly, what to take away with is that there isn't a lot to take away. We still don't know a lot. So I think, Garrett, I was talking to you about it before we even started the podcast. That's the whole point is just like we want that anticipation. We want to be guessing. Like we said, we're talking a lot about Red Bull. We're talking about Mercedes. We're talking about Ferrari, but like we don't just talk enough about McLaren. It's not just us, it's everyone. But McLaren is still there. They're still prominent. They're still strong. They're still pumping out the right numbers. And they're the reigning champs. So the fact that not just us, a lot of us haven't been talking about them just goes to show that there's not a lot to go on to begin with. No one is a complete outlier. And that just makes this season I mean, the only complete outlier is Aston Martin right now, but
maybe Williams too.
maybe Williams too. Williams just seems like they're getting it together. They're picking up the pieces far better than Aston Martin right now. Um, but that being said, not a lot to go with. How about you, Garrett? What are you taking from all of this?
I'm just excited that the cars with the new engines didn't all break down, and then we've got a solid top four of Mercedes, Ferrari, McLaren, and Red Bull to watch all season. And it'll just be exciting to see where the pieces fall and which team reigns supreme out of all those.
Yeah. Let's take a look and see what happens, I guess, in 2 weeks now, 2 weeks time. It's close.
It's 2 weeks already.
Yeah, I think it's just 2 weeks. Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah, we're almost there. Oh
One of
my
my
God.
buddies was watch who he already warmed up the track and walked it for us. He lives down in Australia and he went out there and went for a wander. So the track's warm and ready. Now we
No
just got to wait
way.
for the cars to show up.
Is it all kind of like getting set up right now, or is it too far out?
Too far out, but
Yeah,
it's still public access to the track, so you can go running in Albert Park still. And
that's
so
cool.
he goes and runs the racetrack.
That's so cool. That is badass. Well, I'm glad he's checking in on us for us, the Cooldown Lap exclusive track running, track checking. Only here. No, I'm just kidding. But that being said, actually, one more thing to talk about. Toto Wolff in that interview. You hear what he said? Dude,
He said it and then said, "I probably shouldn't have said that."
dude, he says it, and then he looks at this one reporter. He's like, "Oh, he's like, oh, you didn't like that one. You didn't like that one." It's like, no, Toto, no one liked that one, bro. Like,
Toto forgot his media training.
absolutely, absolutely. Oh my God, what did he said something about like Epstein, right? He's like,
He said they've been giving a shit about the compression ratio, then about our fuel. What's going to come next? I'm going to end up on the Epstein list or something. And then he just goes, "Yeah, I probably shouldn't have said that one." Anyway,
but you can also see all the principals just losing it. I forgot it was Zach Brown just like fucking losing his shit. He's like trying to keep it together. Well, was that shade at Aston Martin though?
could have been
Could have been.
taking shots at Lawrence Stroll, who was in the Epstein list.
Yeah.
Yikes. Yikes.
Yikes. Yikes indeed. Not a good time. Not a good topic to be wearing the merch on, eh?
Nope. You got to go put that McLaren sweater on again.
Yeah, just swap out. I have the ability to swap now, man. I have the ability to swap. Oh God. What a bad time to buy that stock, eh?
100%. 100%.
Oh God. Anyways, is there
And
anything
to,
else that we got to cover?
to quote the Grand Tour or Top Gear, and on that terrible ending, let's wrap this up.
Let's wrap this up. I think we're good on that, man. Next week we'll be talking about our predictions post testing and compare that to our pre-shakedown testing and make our race predictions, I guess.
Yeah, man. See if you still think Aston Martin and Fernando Alonso are taking it this year, or if you decide to go with pride into this bet we have, or if you try to shake things up with a little bit more data driven listing. We'll see where your allegiances lie next week.
We'll see. I really don't want to eat the hot wing, so we'll have to see what happens. But let's wrap it up on that. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow us on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, and we'll see you guys next week.